know, I like running a football team. I basically play real life Football Manager, right?
Wow, yeah.
Which is some of the content that got me here in the first place.
Yeah.
You
basically are playing the best game of Football Manager.
yeah, sort of.
I'm Mark Goldbridge, this is Driving with Goldbridge, and today I'm joined by the king of the hashtag, it's Spencer Owen. Spencer Owen, how you doing, pal?
Very good, mate, thanks for having me.
Looking forward to this?
Yeah, mate, it was a bit of fun hanging out with Goldbridge. We've done it a few times, not really on camera properly, but we played football together once, Old Trafford, which was decent.
Yeah, so you're a passenger in my midfield, now you can be a passenger in my car. Let's go. Your neck of the woods, really. Well, London.
Yeah, it's not far. It's not far. How do you feel being down here?
I do like London. I would never move and live down here because it's just, I'm too old for it now. But
yeah,
it's
expensive as well, man.
I do like visiting it. I do. But anyway, it's about you. I think one of the things I wanted to get into straight away with yourself is that I've known what you've done for years. We're going to talk about hashtag and everything like that. But for those who don't know, and they will know who you are, but they'll be, I think, interested. What's the story of Spencer over the sort of last 10 years, if you had to explain your journey in this genre? Not like from birth to this, but you know, your to where you are today, because it didn't start off with hashtag, even though you've done all sorts of things. So.
No, not at all, mate. Yeah, it started off with me. I used to do student and hospital radio when I was a kid, and I went to uni, and I did that, and I also did stand-up comedy, believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Which always makes people laugh because they never
got a good joke?
think it's funny.
You've got to fight fire with fire. You heard that before? Fight fire with fire. That's not a great phrase, is it? Because, you know, if it's true, someone, for the love of God, tell the fire brigade. Because for years they've been using water.
I ultimately failed as a comic, so clearly not. But
take some balls to do that, you know.
That's the best thing about it, really. Is it's unbelievable training for like anything else that might be daunting in your life. You're like, nah, if I've done that, and I've done that.
I just want to say as well, not just balls, because I know there are fantastic female stand-ups as well. But what I meant is it takes courage to do that.
Metaphorical balls, yeah. And then I made YouTube videos as well, and then I started doing football videos probably around 2012. So I've been doing YouTube videos since 2007. But there were just silly things.
That is a long time. You must be one of the
15 years,
longest running. You know, because I speak to people like Redmen and they go, we started football YouTube, and that was like 2012. So it's like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I didn't start making football videos until 2012. So if people had been doing football before that, they definitely would have been before me. But yeah, I was making silly comedy stuff in 2007 and so on. But then I had a few videos that did all right. I did these like Premier League poem videos where I used to do like almost like a silly poem about the football season. A few bit of wordplay in there.
The 2013-14 season, another campaign done, another convincing reason to fall in love with football all over again. With twists and turns and competition at both ends, we welcomed new boys Cardiff, Hull and Palace, all seeking Premiership glory and not a poisoned chalice.
One of them got like 100,000 views, which was massive for me back then because I had no real subscribers. And
was it like Burnley are so bloody boring? I found myself asleep and snoring.
I mean, that's decent. You should probably consider the home game, mate.
No, I bet yours are better than mine.
I think they're still up on my old YouTube channel, but that made me think. Actually, okay, people seem to like when I always loved football, but I never thinking about doing it as a career or anything.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a radio DJ. Really, that's why I was even doing stand up to try and get into that. And but I was like, okay, they seem to like the football stuff. Let's make more football stuff. And then I ended up working. Well, actually, before that, I'd actually worked with Vincent Company in Man City. I actually used to do social media.
I remember that, yeah. Only because you mentioned it, but vaguely I do remember reading something about it a few years ago.
Fell into that accidentally. And then I went to Copper 90, YouTube channel, and I worked for them. And then we had a comedy character called FIFA Player, where I got to put some of the old stand-up stuff into practice and run around in a mask, play people at FIFA for a bit, which was very fun. And then I was like, okay, I've done enough of this sort of dillying about. I'm going to take this seriously now. Can I make a career from YouTube? I've seen people like the KSIs of the world make a bit of money. And not a lot of money, to be fair, but just proves that you could survive. You know, that was all I was wanting to do. I just wanted to be able to pay my rent from YouTube. So I quit my job at 24, back in 2013, I think, and I concentrated on the game FIFA, because I'd done this FIFA player stuff, and I liked FIFA, playing the game, but also it was a genre of YouTube that would do really well. Did that, continued to grow the channel. Then the next big thing I did was something called the Wembley Cup, which is
about that
kind of big football match with YouTubers. That grew my channel a lot, and then Hashtag came along, which is the football team that I founded and I run.
This is a good segment in there. What happened to the Wembley Cup? Because it was 2 or 3 years, very, very popular.
We did 4 of them, yeah.
And it's no more.
No,
it was EE, wasn't it, who was sort of behind it? But
yes, EE were the backers for it for sure. It was my kind of, I pitched it to them, they backed it, they gave us Wembley, that's where we got the title Wembley Cup from. We were able to play there. But and it was amazing. First year, behind closed doors, put it on YouTube, got nearly 20 million views.
Yeah,
it's insane.
massive, isn't it? Yeah.
And then when we had a crowd, second one we had 34,000 people in the crowd.
It's more than
ridiculous.
you get like the Autoglass or anything, isn't it? Yeah?
It's more than a lot of people, certainly more than we deserve to be able to play in front of. But the difference between a Wembley Cup and, say, your Clash of Creators, which we played at, or you were at recently with me, and the Sidemen games and all these things, is it was never just one game, it was always a series. EE were paying a lot of money, and we had to pay the players to play in it as well. That's something that people don't necessarily know, because of the branding element of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that
they're not doing it for charity or anything like that.
there was a charity element, but we raised a couple $100,000 for Sport Relief and Bob Moore Fund through the Wembley Cups. But ultimately, they didn't just have to come and play the game. They'd have to appear in episodes, we had to use a bit of their time. They also were obliged to share the content, which is one of the reasons the content did so well.
It becomes a branding thing, yeah.
So fair enough to them, but what that meant was budgets were a really important part of it, and the budgets weren't getting any bigger from EE's front, but the creators were getting bigger every year, so they're getting more expensive. And so we did 3, and then the 4th one, we just didn't have enough money to do it in that same way. So what we did was we made it about the teams. There was a lot of different YouTube teams about. Hashtag was one of them. There was Rebel, EXO did a team, and the F2 Freestylers. Yeah. And so we played it as sort of a tournament. It was a 4-way tournament at Wembley. It was still very fun and very rewarding, but the games weren't long enough really, and it didn't have the same star factor, I would say. So I think if the short answer to your question really is, though, it just ran its course. We did 4 of them. Non-league came along for me. It takes up a lot of my time. It was very hard for me to do both, you know, sort of charity hobby football tournament to serious competitive football on Saturday. I've prioritised the latter, and I love it.
You did a Sir Alex instead of a Wenger. You got out when it was good instead of carrying on until it was too late, which is, you know, X factor as well, isn't it? Cowell, he carries it on too long until it just became crap. So sometimes that's a lesson to everybody, you know. Sometimes getting out when it's good is the right time.
There's only 2 series of The Office.
Exactly.
People forget this, the English Office anyway. And
you know what I love about The Office? That every guest I've had on here so far has referenced The Office, and I think that's always a good thing.
I think our whole generation's been influenced by it, hasn't it?
So yeah, so Wembley Cup, and this is now leading us into Hashtag, which is what a lot of people will know you for now. So that journey was, you know, you've done your FIFA, you've done your EE, and then Hashtag started. Tell us the story of Hashtag then, how that started, because it started from nothing really.
Yeah, mate, it's just a load of mates really. Me and my brother and a load of our friends. We started playing football and filming it. Because of the Wembley Cup, I known there was an appetite not just to watch FIFA videos, to watch actual football on my channel. Couldn't get the YouTubers to play every week for obvious reasons, very busy and whatnot. So I was like, well, I play football every Sunday. I play on the weekend. So why don't I take mates I play with, some of them from school, some of them from the boys I play on Sundays with, and we'll start filming our games. We're not going to be a Sunday League team. We're going to make the team for YouTube. So we're going to play the best possible opponents we can. We don't care if we've got to go to other countries to play them, or up north or wherever. We will choose the best opponent to make the series as strong as it can be. Yeah. We'll put little production points and format points in there to make it more entertaining. The football was all legitimate, you know, but we put things like, if you win this game, we'll take you on a tour, or if you win this game, the man of the match will get an Xbox or something like this, to make it a little bit more different to just your classic Sunday football, which was already on YouTube, and no one had done that before. We got a bit of stick for it. We got a bit of stick for the name. The name comes from, actually, the Hashtag existed before YouTube. It was a 7-a-side team I played in with boys that worked in the social media industry with me, so we called it Hashtag FC, because it was like, you know, social media football team. Yeah. And then we decided actually to keep it for the YouTube stuff, because we knew it would annoy people, basically. And I call myself, Essex Athletic, like, who cares? Outside of Essex, it means nothing to nobody. someone will have an opinion about a team called #United in every corner of the globe.
Well, what? There's loads of stupid team names already, isn't there? You know.
Of course.
Queen's Park Rangers. Just don't like Cooper's.
Well, there's places like people because they've been around for so long.
The area, isn't it? But there are
Port Vale's not a place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Port Vale's not a place. Last year we saw in the FA Cup that team Marine played Spurs. They're called Marine because it's the name of a hotel, but
Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal was obviously Woolwich Arsenal, and they dropped the Woolwich. Yeah, so it's very common, but because it's hashtag and it's very modern, and it's very.
Which is what the whole brand's all about anyway,
yeah.
and the whole concept.
There's a lot of old boys who probably hate everything we stand for, even though we actually stand for very good things. Anyone that gets to know hashtag knows we're very positive, very inclusive. We've got a women's team, which is a really big part of what we do, but not everyone wants to see that. So I don't mind the name. I always say an owner's job of a football club is not to make everyone support your team. It's not possible. You find the people that are going to support you, you find your people, and you give them a great time, and that's what we do.
And you are now currently 3 divisions off the League 2, or 3 divisions off?
4 promotions it would be to get to League 2. 3 promotions to the Conference Prem, or National League Prem as it's now known. Yeah, we're getting there, mate. We're getting there. We entered, we were just amateurs playing football on YouTube. Did that for a couple of years. Then we went up a level, went into actual the non-league pyramid. So essentially, we went to a level which meant there was a route to the Premier League. There's enough promotions. We could play in the FA Cup, things like this. And then we've had back-to-back promotions since we've been in there. So doing okay.
The thing I think about hashtag when I look at it is that the commercial side of it, and I know commercial is a bit of a dirty word, but what I mean is the attraction of it, the social attraction of it. Because I see people like from United stand who are, they'll mention it, and that they follow you and they go around and watch you, and you see it all the time. That is the potential of that is huge. What's the potential? What's the goal for you with the actual team? Do you think is there a get out point for you? Do you think you can get to maybe Premier? I don't know. Premier League? What? League One? What is it? What's the goal with that?
The reality, in my opinion, is this: we've done the hardest bit. If it costs money, obviously, a lot of money to get to the Premier League, money which we don't currently have. So it's not going to happen as we currently are set up. But the hardest bit is done. We're in the pyramid. We've already climbed some levels, but more importantly, we have the notoriety and the fame, if you like, in terms of the followers. We have Premier League size following if you compare us to other teams in the league. We have Premier League and Championship size sponsorships if you compare the revenue that it brings into the club. So we also have an esports side of our business, which is, is world class. We have the best FIFA player in the world currently. So that's the hardest bit. You get a lot of non-league, and it's just some rich guy or person who throws a lot of money at something on an ego trip to go to a certain league, and then inevitably they fall away from the club, they leave, and the club falls back down. I'm not interested in that. We're trying to grow a sustainable club from the bottom up. We've just reverse engineered it. We've got the fans worldwide. What we don't have right now is probably as many local fans as a lot of other clubs. So if we had a 20,000 seater stadium, we wouldn't be able to fit it because people watch our videos in South America, in Africa, and it's not realistic. That's the bit we want to get better at. That's actually a bit more important to me right now than more promotions, because even though we definitely have the means to go up a few more levels, the costs spiral, and I'd rather get all our ducks in a row first, grow the fan base locally, and financially set us up that we can actually make a push to the very top.
Taking it away from hashtag and bringing it back to yourself, this to me sounds like a huge project, and you've done a lot of things over the years. I've spoken to everybody about this, and I think it's really important. Mental health. I was speaking to Loz about this on another one, about how we're a bit older, and I suppose you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
When we were in our teens, this was not mentioned, not spoken about.
No, you're right.
I know how hard it is to work in this space. I can only imagine what it's like for yourself, having to, something like hashtag where you're organising so much. Is that something that's been an issue for you at all over your time?
Yeah, no, for sure. I've definitely talked about it a few times. I think not so much now, but a couple of years ago, Alex and I, my fiance, she works with me, and we made a sort of pact probably about 6 years ago. We sort of went like, she quit her job, and we're going to really work as hard as we can for a couple of years, just see where it gets us. Basically, when she quit her job, I didn't make enough money from YouTube to pay for both our wages. Like, it was let's use our savings to survive for a few months, and hopefully in those months we'll push things up, which we did, and it worked, right? And we did this like phase for a couple of years where we worked like dogs. We missed a lot of social events, we missed a lot of holidays, whatever. 100% worked in that it got us, to buy a house, and we kicked on and then made a business and had hashtag and all those things. But definitely affected me mentally 100% because I started to lose a bit of sight of who I was as a person, I would say. Like, started to probably...
You broke up, didn't you?
Well, this is a separate thing, I say, but yeah, we ultimately did break up, which was a huge part of that as well. We're back together now. But even before that, the stress of... It's quite common, I think, in work particularly, when you climb and we get promoted often, even in this creative industry, you have to make a choice of being like creative or going down a management level. And eventually I found myself managing people and had these people working for me, and I was like, this isn't really what I signed up for. I feel like I'm being stifled a bit.
Yeah,
There's a lot of pressure on me, because if I didn't do X, Y and Z, no one made any money, so it was like kind of fine until it wasn't fine. And suddenly I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore, or not so much do this, but I didn't want to be in that exact setting. So we got people in to help. We used to work from home, we got an office outside the house. All these things start to take a bit of pressure away. So that was quite good. But no, you're right, we weren't prepared for this as kids. I don't know what's happening in schools and stuff now, but I definitely think as a nation or as a world, we need to teach people that success is happiness. It's not financial, and it's not what your mates think of you, and it's certainly not what you put on Instagram or Twitter. And until we start prioritising that, we're going to have a lot of people that actually, sometimes the worst thing is actually achieving your goals, because your goals are important, but then you achieve them and you look around you and life isn't all sunshine and rainbows all of a sudden. You're like, well, why? I've been working on this thing for 10 years and I was told that if I did it, life would be great and I'd just have fun all the time. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to always have something else you're striving for, and you ultimately just want to be sort of at peace. So
it's funny. It is funny because I think that I'll forget I'm like this, but what I was going to say is that it's interesting you say that, and there's a lot of people I speak to in this space where it's like they work really hard. It's a really hard space, and the smallest violin playing to anyone watch this, because they'll be like, wow, you've got all these followers, this, that and the other, but they do work really hard. There's very few people in this space that get all that off 10 minutes of a video a week. There's so much that goes behind that, even if you are just a 10-minute video a week, the production and the value, everything like that. But because I'm a little bit older, I've worked with people who's worked hard as well, but they go home at 5 o'clock and they get Saturday, Sunday off. In this space, it's so interesting what you said about you found yourself managing more and you wanted to be creating, because that's exactly what I've had over the last year. It's like I'm managing way more and I just want to create. Yeah. People go, oh, my heart bleeds, and it's like, but that's just what I want to do. I'm a creator, but you end up becoming a manager because
you do. I think that's common for a lot of industry, but particularly in this industry. You go into it because you like a certain thing, you get good at that, and they go, oh cool, well now you can manage the other people that are good at that. You're like, well no, I didn't.
Which is exactly what's happened with you, with your hashtag and everything.
So I manage the bits that I like managing now. Yeah. I like running a football team. I basically play real life Football Manager, right?
Wow, yeah.
Which is some of the content that got me here in the first place.
Yeah. You basically are playing the best game of Football Manager.
Yeah, sort of. And I remind myself.
But then but you were saying just before we went live, and that you also have to detach yourself, because you're not just going, you're crap, mate, get out my team like you do on Football Manager. This is
they're real people, especially in non-league. They're not professionals, right? So they're giving you their time for very little money most of the time. I think it's the Football Manager analogy is a good one, because even you're right about the violin thing. Like I can imagine people watching this going like, well, I'd happily swap places with you, or you're doing all right. And it's true, but that's what we're talking about, mental health. That's where people need to understand, if you don't appreciate it already, it doesn't matter if you're, the King of England or you're unemployed. An unemployed person can be happier than the King of England. It's all about your own relativity to your own life experience. But the Football Manager thing's a good one, because if I ever get annoyed about something, and obviously things still annoy me in my job, or things don't go the way I want them to, or I get frustrated with people or things. I remember once I was dealing with a player, who's actually one of our esports players years ago, and I wasn't happy with the way the contract negotiations were going. I was just a bit highly strung, and I went, you know what, I need to take a little bit of time off. I'm going to go and play some Football Manager for fun. And I was like, what am I going to go and do in the game? I'm going to negotiate a contract with a virtual player. I'm playing the game in real life, and I have to remind myself there's many other jobs I'd rather not be doing. So you find the fun even in the bits that annoy you. But everything becomes a job eventually, right? Everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much you love it. there's a couple of things I believe to be true 100%. People that read more are more intelligent, like it's just a fact. I'm not saying that's me. When I was a kid I used to read a lot, but I've looked at other people and you look at all these intelligent people in different fields. I think like Warren Buffett, who's a huge investor businessman, reads 2 books a day or something crazy. People like Stephen Fry, all these guys. There's a common denominator, and it doesn't have to be books, fiction books. It could be, it could be online nowadays. It could be doing a million different things. But you take in a lot of knowledge across different things. It will definitely help you in life, undeniably. And hard work does pay off. I do genuinely believe that. I'm not saying everyone's got to be hardworking, but if you want to get somewhere, I believe you take your destiny in your own hands and you work harder than the person next to you, and you will see the benefits.
Yeah, definitely, 100% agree with that. And it's interesting what you say about reading, because I probably haven't read a book in about 6 years, but I used to love it, and I just worry for my kids and people watching this as well. When was the last time you read a book? Because I did grow up reading books, and how much do I learn?
I think as adults we all get to a certain point where we go, right, I'm happy with my basic level of intelligence now I just need to get some money and just make sure I can feed the kids and all these things, which is an absolutely normal thing to do. But as kids we're much more trying to improve our station all the time, where our parents are trying to get us to. So we stop at a certain point. The quest for knowledge ends, but I don't think it should.
What's your perception of the YouTube space that you operate in? Like, not the wider one, but certainly I suppose, what would you include in that? I mean, people you get on with, people you've done content with, the football YouTubing space.
Just my general perception of it.
Yeah, I mean, do you think there's pitfalls in there? Do you think it's a big positive in the world of football?
There's definitely a lot of. Well, you'll know this more than me because I've done my West Ham stuff over the years, but I've never really been focused on any sort of team.
Yeah.
And you'll know, even though your team, United, is a massive team, there's a lot of negativity and criticism that comes with that as well, from either within your own club, but also certainly outside it. And that's the thing I think that is quite hard to handle at first. It took me a long time to realise you can just be criticised and not deserve it. Like, when you first get stick online, you're like, what have I done? What have I done? You start to question, like, what mistake did I make? And no, actually, especially in this country, we have a habit of shooting people down when they start to do something that's good, basically, and or at least doing something with their lives. And it took me a long time to realise that and make peace with that. So I think football probably exacerbates that because of the tribalism. There's a lot of people that won't like you because of the team you support. They won't like you because of an opinion you had about their favourite player or whatnot. So there's pitfalls in that regard. You've got to be strong. It's something we even say to our footballers, the hashtag now, because we've got a comment section on our games, and some of them will get absolutely destroyed because they missed a chance. Next week they'll be compared to Ronaldo because they scored it. So it's all fickle, and it's not the same people commenting. But the only opinions you should matter of in football, we say, is the manager's, really, because he's going to choose whether he picks you or not. And I think you can apply that to your own life and say the opinions of people you love and care about are the ones that should matter, not that necessarily those of people online. But it's an amazing thing ultimately, isn't it? This genre we operate in. Like, I've played football with you. You're not a bad footballer, but neither of us were going to be professional footballers, right? But we're able to make a decent living from the sport we love. That is something that cannot be said for a lot of other sports. We're very lucky.
Yeah.
Football is so good, basically, and worldwide popular. Every job I've actually ever had, accidentally, has been through football. My first job after uni was working for a football computer game. Then I worked for Vincent Company. Then I worked for a football YouTube channel. Then I started a football YouTube channel. Then I started a football team. And I'm not that good at football. Do you know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
Right, we're inside, Spencer, continuing the chat, but first of all, we are sponsored by Wash and Go, as you can see, beautifully arranged over my fireplace. You're wearing the hashtag hat. Underneath it, you've got hair.
True.
I've also got some pictures of your hair that you might want to comment on. We'll put them up on the screen for everyone now. Let's start off with that one. You've had a few funny haircuts over the time.
Yes, the top one, yeah. Well,
was there a time where you thought it was actually a fashionable thing, or just couldn't bother to get it?
Is it not? No,
I think the top one looks all right.
The top one, basically, I wanted to grow my hair, and the few attempts I tried it before never looked very good, certainly in that awkward middle stage, so I thought I needed an excuse. So I made up a thing where I said I wasn't going to cut my hair until I scored a goal for hashtag. Then I actually scored the next game, which is very rare, so I just kept growing it anyway. But yeah, it's the same thing with me. Everyone's got different hair, haven't they? If I grow it to a certain length, it just gets unmanageable. so I just don't have it long.
And that bottom one there, how old are you?
Where'd you get that one from?
I don't know.
Looks like research on this one.
I've used my old
I swear that's
contacts in
some
the
old
police.
passport photo or something.
Used my old contacts, you know.
God, that I don't even know. Actually, no, I do remember that. I do remember because it was a passport photo. We had to get new passports done. My dad, I was 18, and my dad realised the easiest way to do it, because we were all getting them, was to wake us all up and take us down this shop with the photos. You can see by the state of my eyes in that. Basically, I'd been in the pub the night before, and I was heavily hungover. Yeah, it's alcohol. I was heavily hungover, and my dad just pulled me out of bed, literally just while my hair's a mess, to get a passport photo. And that was on my passport for however long it is, 10 years or something, isn't it?
Well, it's obviously online, Spencer.
Yeah. How's that got out there?
Well, thanks to Wash and Go for sponsoring the show again. Let's get through the questions that we've got left for you. But first of all, I did this with Pie Face. We had a little bit of a competition a few weeks ago about naming England teams. We're going to give each other a challenge. West Ham against Manchester United. I'm going to pick a game, and I'm going to tell you the day, and you're going to try and pick as many players as you can with 11. I just need to count them on the fingers as you do it, and I'll tell you how many you get. Okay? So we're going to go West Ham versus Manchester United. I presume this might have been Upton Park, 2015. Right. It was a 1-1 draw with goals from, well, I won't tell you who scored for West Ham, but Daley Blind scored a 90 minutes plus 2 equaliser, and Luke Shaw got sent off on 90 plus 3. I don't remember this game. 2015. Is
there a reason you picked this game? Just a random game?
I just typed in West Ham versus Man United in the last 10 years and it came up.
Okay.
2015, February. How many players can you guess from the West Ham starting lineup?
15. Okay. Let's go Mark Noble.
Yeah.
Got to play it safe sometimes.
So that's one, but you've got 1 point.
You got to play it safe for Marky Nobes. There's a lot of boys we've had for a while now, but I'm not sure if we had them in 2015. These aren't guesses, but I'm thinking players like Antonio and Cresswell. I think they joined around that time. They could both be in there, but they could also not be in there. Let's go Winston Reid.
Okay.
Centre back. Not in there?
No.
Sheesh. Okay.
So you've got 1 out of 2.
That's a problem. Okay. Let's go 2015, such an awkward time for me. Well, I'll try Antonio.
No.
Oh man, he was going to come the next year. Scott Parker? No, he's gone by then. He was gone by then.
Retract, yeah. Well.
He was gone by then. That not count, yeah? I think so. Okay, so let's track it back. We got promoted via the playoffs in 2012, 2013, I think. So this would be like a couple of seasons in the Prem again. I'm not going to say Cresswell.
I think you've got problems with this.
Oh, I've got problems with this, 100%. Because there's a lot of boys that have been with us for a long time. I'm trying to remember life before them.
Rotation.
James Collins.
No.
No, I can't believe
You've got
it.
1 out of 4 so far.
Let's go goalkeeper, and let's go... I just don't want to get the wrong guess. I've got a lot of people I could give you, but are they right? Okay, so it's not James Collins, not Winston Reid. That shocks me.
Still playing, not for West Ham.
Still playing? Okay.
I think he's got a Premier League
James
winners
Tompkins.
Medal. Yeah, he's
Come
on.
on.
Yeah. So 2 out of 5.
Premier League winners medal, did you say?
Goalkeeper. He will have, I think.
Who am I forgetting here? Rob Green.
No.
Goalkeeper, Premier League winners medal. He's gone to where? City.
He's won it in the last couple of years, yeah.
City or Chelsea or... Oh, no, he didn't play for us then.
Scousers.
Scousers. He's a Scouser, goalkeeper.
He's not a Scouser, but he plays for them.
Oh, I didn't think he won it with David James. No.
Still plays now.
He's a goalkeeper, plays for City.
He's really made a mark on you.
Who am I forgetting?
Is he Brazilian?
Are you sure you've got the right person there?
Yeah, it says it in front of me.
A goalkeeper that plays for City is one. Is it City?
No, he's Liverpool. He's at
He's
Liverpool now.
Oh, sorry. Of course, on the wrong. Yeah, I know exactly who it is. I was on the wrong page. Adrian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 out of 6.
I was thinking it was City for some reason. I thought it was the Scousers and he was from Liverpool, which was City. Okay. We've got Adrian. We've got James Tompkins.
You've actually
okay,
got,
I've got one for
4
you.
out of 7 because you did say Cresswell, so I'm going to let you.
Oh, Cresswell's in there. I've got one for you as well. Kiate.
Yeah, and he scored the goal. So you're doing well now.
Good lad, Checo Kiate.
5 out of 9.
Who the heck's in the middle with Mark Noble? That's what I want to know. It's amazing. Not that long ago, really, is it? 6 years. There's just
It is at
there's
West
no.
Ham, though, isn't it?
We don't keep players that long. Like there's no. Cresswell, that would have been his first season, I think. Everyone else, apart from Noble, is gone. So up front, you already tried Antonio, didn't I? And it wasn't him. We've had so many strikers over the years. That's the thing. So I've got the 2 centre backs, haven't I? And I've got 1 centre back.
No, you didn't. You got
Oh, if they would have played Kiete,
you've got 5. You've
Kiete
got
might have been in the middle though.
You've got everybody apart from your right back, 3 midfielders and 2 forwards. You've got 2 guesses.
I think Kiete, wasn't he not playing centre mid, Kiete?
Centre back, apparently, according to that.
Really? Say the positions again. Right back.
Right back, 3 midfielders, 2 forwards, 2 guesses left.
If we should have done that, I thought you were going to do a different game. I thought you were going to do.
I feel bad.
I thought you were going to, no, don't feel bad. I thought it's just a random game. I thought you were going to do the final game.
I knew West. I want to see that.
Sacco.
Yes, 6. One last guess.
Good old Sacco. Let's say Stuart Downing.
Well done.
Did I get
7. 7 out of 11.
I'll take that, to be fair, 'cause I was
Yeah, I think
struggling.
you've done well there.
Who did I
You
forget?
only didn't get Song,
Song.
Nolan, Valencia,
Valencia.
and Jenkinson.
Oh, yeah, Jenkinson, yeah.
I think you
forgot
did
he
well
played
to
for
get
us.
7 out of 11 with them.
Yeah, no, yeah, well, I said that's par. I need to do at least 7, or else I'm not going to show my face in East London again.
High rotation, isn't it?
Right, it really is, mate. It really is. Let's pick one for you then. Well, I was going to go easy on you, but now
Mate, I've struggled with United. We've rotated a lot as well.
you said it has to be the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the final game at the Boleyn, but that's too easy. Well, from West Ham, it's very memorable. Might not be so memorable for you, but that's too recent, I think.
Yeah. You need to take me back a bit because through all the players that we've bought.
Okay, I've got a game for you.
Go.
West Ham at home versus Man United.
Yeah.
It was 4-2. I'll let you decide who won 4-2. But I'm sure you can figure out. It was United. Yeah, go for it, mate. The year 2011.
Oh, 2011.
Yeah.
So, goalkeeper-wise, he has been here. What date was it?
I mean, technically, it's more than 10 years ago because it was April 2011. Can I have it?
Yeah, I'll take that. I
It's
just
10 and a
know
bit.
it won't be De Gea in goal, will it?
So it's I don't know, is that a guess?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say De Gea because he's been here 10 years. It's not De Gea. That's what I'm saying.
Just to show you the level of rotation, by the way. What was the year you did 2014, 2015?
Yeah.
There is not a single player in the West Ham team that played in that last
West
one.
Ham was such a bad team to do. Although I think back then I would. I mean, look, injury apart, I would definitely say Ferdinand.
Is that a guess?
Yeah.
He's not in there.
Bloody hell. Vidic.
Vidic is in there. You got 1.
1 out of 2 then.
Yeah.
I'll count how many guesses I've had if you count my points.
Okay.
So I've got 2 there. I'd say Evra was still there then.
Correct. Got subbed off at half time, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Goalkeeper. I can't remember who the bloody goalkeeper was before De Gea. Was it Van der Sar?
No. Is that a guess though, yeah?
Yeah. So I've had 4. I'm in trouble now. I'm in big trouble. Carrick.
Correct. Carrick is in there.
Rooney.
Yes, scored a hat-trick this day.
I remember it well.
That might have helped you a little bit.
I remember it well. I don't know. I'd say Scholes was still there.
No Skulls involved, I'm afraid.
Giggs.
Yes, Giggs is in there. How many you had? How many guesses you
I've
had?
had 8 already.
5 of 8, okay.
I'm trying to think what I've not gone for a right back, have I? Valencia at that time.
Yes, 6.
2 guesses to level with you. The midfield's bloody tricky, that is.
The keeper's very hard. I mean, I'll give you a clue. There's a guy on the bench called Oliver Gill.
I see, this is the trouble. When you've got me right just before we signed De Gea. 2 guesses. I've got Rooney, striker, Welbeck.
No Welbeck involved in the day, mate.
I need this to level up with you.
I did send you a few years back, though. I had to make it hard
No,
for
it's
you.
a good one. I think that there's loads of... I mean, I'm surprised Scholes and Ferdinand aren't playing. They must have been injured. That's a bit unlucky. Right back, I've got Valencia. It's one of the midfielders, and I would say at that time I'd be safer going for a sense. God, it's 2.
Does it have to be the starting 11, or could it be people that come off the bench?
No, starting 11.
Okay, fair.
Cleverly.
No.
Was it Anderson?
No.
Oh, I'm all
Anderson
right
was on the bench.
I'm all right with that then, because I was going to go Cleverly. So
you
who didn't I
got,
get?
you got 6. So you didn't get the keeper, Kuszczak, Thomas Kuszczak, isn't it? Very hard.
I didn't want to gamble and waste on them. I was even thinking Ben Foster.
You got Everett left back, you got Vidic at centre back, you didn't get Smalling or Fabio.
Yeah, I'd never have got Fabio.
In the middle, you said Giggs and you said Carrick and Valencia. But there was, I'm not sure who was playing where. It looks like it was a 5-man to start because the other two were Park and Gibson.
You got me there. That's a good one.
It's tough. That's a very tough one, mate.
But I deserved it after the West Ham. Anyway, back to yourself. Fatherhood. I want to talk to you about that. How old's your lad now?
He is almost 8 months old, 7.5 months, basically, yeah. So.
And what impact, apart from the obvious, what impact has this had on your outlook? You know, in relation to your career and your life, has it? Some people it doesn't change. Has it changed you?
Well, certainly during the period of you know, first few months and adjusting, it was just that was the most important thing. But it was quite good timing, to be honest, because it was during COVID and our football season wasn't even happening at the time. So it was, I would have missed a few things work-wise for sure, but I didn't need to in the end because it was convenient in that regard. But yeah, I think the thing I've said to people that don't have kids when they've asked me is I've said, when you don't have kids, I think you see fatherhood or parenthood as something that's going to take all these things away from you, like your freedom and your ability to do these things, which it does, but it's not that, for me, it was just wanting to do different things now. So before, I might think I can go to the pub, I can do whatever I want. As soon as you've got a kid, you're like, well, I'd like to just hang out with him for a bit, it's quite fun. So you don't feel like you've lost anything, you just feel like you've changed your interests. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
But I know as you get more on kids and stuff, it does get a bit hectic and that, so, you know, we've just got the one at the minute.
And thinking about the future for you, if you think about your next, are you somebody who plans for your future and looks 5 years ahead? I mean, it sounds like you probably
I think,
do.
Maybe too much.
What you're thinking about is you know, early 30s now, aren't you? Approaching 40s in like 5-10 years' time. What are you looking at over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, obviously, #United is the thing that takes up most of my time at the moment by choice. Like, I really, really do enjoy it. So first and foremost is obviously sustaining that, keeping it going, growing it as well, seeing what sort of adventures we can get ourselves into with it. Ambitiously, I'd love to kick it on. You know, I'd love to have probably some investors into the club and allow us to actually reach our potential, because we've got
investors.
Yeah, invest now. No, I mean, we've had offers in investment that we've turned down in the past. It's got to be the right kind of people, but I think for the right person, it'd be an amazing project. And I'm very, you know, transparent. Like, you know, it's been funded by originally me and then sponsors for a long time, which can continue, and we're very sustainable at that rate. But if we want to go to where we actually can now go into professional football and maybe the Premier League even one day, this takes a lot of money that we don't currently have. The big thing for me that is achievable, I think, is getting a ground. That's the big thing. We ground share now. We've got men, women, youth team all playing in different locations, near to each other, but not the same place. I want to get them in one place, create that community, and then have all the great things that come with having a football ground, which we're trying.
And so you would say that over the next, that's your focus now. There's no wandering back into playing FIFA or anything like that for you.
Certainly
that's taking up all your time.
Well, you've got to remember, we've got an esports whole division, so I spend a lot of my time, you know, managing and working with our FIFA players, and I also present a lot of FIFA events. I commentate a lot of FIFA events. So I've more than enough FIFA in my life still, without even playing the game.
Let alone not having to go through the high blood pressure of the scripting and just actually commentating on other people sounds great.
Yeah, I think. You know, if I had nothing else on, would I still enjoy playing the game? Yeah, of course I would. But I just got so many other things that I need to do to allow my business to thrive, but also personally, you know, with a baby, it's hard. So content-wise, I've got enough content to make without having to go into FIFA.
You don't sound like somebody to me that would have any regrets, but is there any regrets that you've had across your career?
Well, I've learned from any regrets. I'd say I've learned from mistakes which have helped me in the future. So I always look back and
What's
I think...
What's the biggest mistake you've learned from?
Probably, a mistake might not be the right word, but when # was starting and there was a lot of rivalry between the other teams, like Palmer's, for example, we all got sucked into it, Palmer's as well. We've admitted, you know, Smith and I are on very good terms nowadays. But there was a time when we weren't, and I think that it was because a lot of anxiety came with this football YouTube world where Man United lose to Man City, right? It's not ideal, but you know there'll be another game, and you know you're in the league with them, and you know you've got fans all over the world, and you know it's not going to... When, as a YouTube team in those early days, if you lost one of those games, you felt like your channel was done. Like, imagine that's your job and you employ people, and you're like saying to your mate, who are your mates as well, they're not like suddenly pro footballers, like, guys, we need to win this game or else I don't know. That's how it felt at the time, and I think Palmer's echoed that, and I've spoken to Smith about it many times. And I just regret that a bit because even though we actually won the game, not to, sure people remember, but the point is, it doesn't matter. The point is that as a result of that anxiety that both sides probably felt going into it, and it was a YouTube collaboration ultimately, which is a really, really important tool for YouTube growth, but it was like on the worst terms possible. You got our version of commentary completely different to their version of commentary, which is exactly how a normal football game would be if you had a United fan and a City fan commentating it. But YouTube was that time was all about sharing, like, come and watch my mate, he's a good YouTuber, follow him and follow me. And this was the opposite. They were sending people to hate our comments, we were sending people there. And whilst that's very football-y, it's not very healthy for an individual who's associated with that team, that channel. But I learned a lot from that, and we don't play those sort of games anymore, to be honest, because we're in an actual league. But if we did, I would never feel as emotionally invested as probably I used to.
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. I mean, we had that game, United Stand AFTV, and we won that, and that just went really, really bad for them because it was like, there was these things that happened on the pitch, and it's like, it can go the other way if you're not doing it. But that's the great thing about hashtag, isn't it? It's not a YouTube team. It is a YouTube team, but it's a real team with a YouTube story. I think that's a fair way of saying it.
Yeah, it's our origin story, and that will always be a massive part of us, and we obviously want to keep making that content as long as we can. But we've got a place at the table, a very small seat at the actual football table now, which is quite exciting, But yeah, there's a million lessons, mate. I'm sure you've learned many as well. That the most important thing is that you learn from them, because you're not going to avoid them, and you're not going to avoid making mistakes. But if you keep making the same ones, that's the problem.
It's a very competitive industry, isn't it? That's the bottom line.
Coming into it, you get taught about collaborations and things, and you learn. You see all these YouTubers, and I was a bit older than the KSIs of the world when they were kicking on, and it was a bit alien to me at first. I'll be honest, because I come out of a production company background and they're our competitors. You don't work with them. That's not really how you do it. You're looking at like X Factor versus Strictly Come Dancing. You can't watch them both. Yeah. But on YouTube, you can. You can watch him and her and whatever, and everyone can be mates. And you need to educate myself on that, and look at the content I've made over the years. Like the Wembley Cup is just a massive collaboration. That's what it really comes down to in terms of the sharing of the videos, which is why it works so well for me. But certain segments of YouTube or industry in general just don't work well with others. You've got to do your own thing.
Well, it's the same in the United industry, isn't it? Because it's like, I don't know whether it shouldn't be like that or it should be like that, but it in the football community, it is very like that. And if you work with that, even from another club, if I went and worked with a certain Chelsea channel, somebody from a Liverpool channel, why are you working with them or anything like that? Yeah. It's very, but like you say, with what you do, that's the collaboration king in a way. It works, doesn't it? And they always say collaboration's the way, but yeah, it is interesting how in our specific area that I work in, it isn't. It's very competitive, and yet, really, I think the competition is Sky and BT and everyone else like that. We're all doing the same thing, but it's like, it's mine. So
yeah, it all comes down to that anxiety of everyone is threatened by everyone, and they don't want to help X person or X channel because they think it's going to hurt their channel, and it's just having that sort of mentality where you just back yourself,
confidence.
Yeah, just back yourself to be good at what you do. And people can watch United Stand and other, Man United fan channels, and people can watch hashtag and other football YouTube channels. There might be some people that have to choose one, and fair play to them, let them choose. And if they don't choose you, cool. As long as you're making stuff you're proud of.
And I tell you what, you'd be amazed how much people watch content these days.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, you just can't believe how much, people will be watching your stuff, our stuff, somebody else's stuff, and you just think, I can't even keep up with Love Island.
Well, that's for the competition. That's exactly what you're right. The TV is the competition because people are actually choosing to watch multiple YouTube channels instead of television. And that's the thing that the big suits at the TV channels do know. They do know, and probably very worried about that.
Yeah. And the big suits need to start putting the big money into things like YouTube, because that's where you get a dedicated, high volume audience, but they're still putting the little adverts in.
Even now, the CPM on like TV adverts is way ridiculous. Higher than it should be. Yeah. When you can just fast forward everything now. No one watches adverts. No one can make me watch an advert on TV anymore. It's almost impossible.
And yet they get massive funds compared to what a hashtag video would get, or a United Stand video.
It will change eventually. It's just going to take a bit longer.
Spencer, it's been an absolute pleasure. Good talk. But thank you very much for coming on.
My pleasure, mate. Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you?
So these days, hashtag United is the best place to go. I do still have a channel called Spencer FC, and I make videos when I can. But go to hashtag United. You don't have to support us instead of another football team. You can be a United fan and have your little YouTube sort of love affair with hashtag United as well. I think it's pretty cool what we do. So yeah, hashtag United YouTube channel.
Cheers. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe, and we're back very soon. Driving with Goldbridge, supported by Wash and Go.